You're 43 years old. You've worked for over 2 decades. You've survived layoffs, recessions, breakups, sleepless nights, and birthdays you didn't feel like celebrating. And somehow, an $800 emergency can still knock you flat on the floor. The car needs a repair. The tooth starts hurting. The kid needs something for school. And just like that, the card comes out, the balance goes up, and the quiet panic comes back. You tell yourself it's just this month. You've been telling yourself that for years. You're not lazy. You're not stupid. You're not bad with money in the way people on the internet love to say. You're tired. You're stretched. You're running a life on a budget that was designed for a smaller version of your responsibilities. And the worst part isn't the lack of money, it's the lack of room. The lack of breathing space. The feeling that one wrong move, one bad week, one unexpected bill, and the whole thing falls apart. If that sounds like your life right now, stay with me. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the 3 financial mistakes that quietly keep people in their 40s broke. Not the cliché ones. Not the ones you've heard 100 times. The real ones. The ones hiding inside what looks like a normal, functional, adult life. Before we go in, do me one favor. Tap that subscribe button. This channel exists for people like you, who are done with fairy tales about money and ready to hear the truth, even when it stings a little. Subscribe, and let's keep going. Because what you're about to hear isn't a lecture, it's a mirror. Here's the promise. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 financial mistakes that are keeping you broke in your 40s, even though you probably earn more now than you did at 25. These are not mistakes about budgets. They're not about coupons. They're not about skipping coffee. These are deeper. They're patterns, habits, invisible decisions you make every single month without noticing. And here's the thing. This is not about blame. You didn't wake up one day and choose to feel behind. Life happened. Divorce happened. Layoffs happened. Kids happened. Rent went up. Groceries went up. Insurance went up. Your salary went up too, but somehow it never feels like enough. That's not a personal failure. That's a pattern. And patterns can be broken. But only if you see them clearly. So let's see them clearly. Together. Because here's what makes your 40s so dangerous financially. Everything looks almost under control. The minimum payment fits. The card still works. The paycheck still lands. The bills still get paid, even if it's by the skin of your teeth. From the outside, your life looks fine. Maybe even successful. You have a job, you have a roof, you have a phone that works, you have clothes, food, a couch, a Netflix subscription. By every visible measure, you're not in crisis. But inside, you know that if your income stopped for 30 days, the entire structure would collapse. You know that your savings account is more of a concept than a reality. You know that you haven't really planned for next year, let alone next decade. You know that retirement feels like a word from another planet, and that's the trap. Not poverty, not disaster, just stagnation dressed up as stability. Nothing is falling apart, but nothing is growing either. You're not drowning, but you're not swimming. You're just floating. And floating, year after year, is how a decade disappears. So let's talk about the first mistake. The first mistake is this. You confuse monthly payments with financial capacity. In your 40s, you rarely buy things anymore. You buy payments. You buy the car payment, the phone payment, the furniture payment, the appliance payment, the vacation payment, the credit card payment, the refinancing payment, the streaming payment, the gym payment, the insurance payment, the subscription you forgot you signed up for. Each one feels small. Each one feels manageable. Each one fits inside the month. And that's the lie. Because the question you've been asking yourself for years is the wrong question. You ask, can I afford this monthly payment? But the real question is, can I afford to lose this much margin every month for the next 3, 4, 5 years? That's a completely different question. And almost nobody asks it. When you buy a car with a 60-month payment, you're not buying a car. You're renting your future income to a bank for 5 years. When you put a vacation on a credit card and pay it off slowly, you're not buying memories. You're buying interest. When you upgrade your phone every 2 years on a plan, you're not buying a device. You're buying a permanent line on your budget that never goes away. And the cruel part is, all of this feels harmless. All of this feels normal. Everyone around you is doing the same thing. Your coworkers, your neighbors, your family. So you don't even notice. Until one day you sit down, add it all up, and realize that 70, 80, sometimes 90% of your income is already promised to someone else before you even open your eyes on payday. That's not living. That's working to pay other people. So what's the correction? It's not magical. It's not complicated. But it requires honesty. Step 1. List every single monthly payment you have. Every one. Cars, cards, loans, subscriptions, insurance, memberships, financing of any kind. Put it on paper or on your phone, but get it out of your head. Most people are afraid to do this. They sense the number is ugly. They prefer not to know. Don't be that person. The number is what it is. Hiding from it doesn't make it smaller. Step 2. Separate toxic debt from structural debt. Toxic debt is high interest, fast growing, designed to bleed you. Credit cards, store cards, predatory loans. Structural debt is slower, like a basic car loan or a mortgage if you have one. Both matter, but the toxic ones are the fire. Put them out first. Step 3. Freeze all new payments for 90 days. No new financing, no new subscriptions, no new upgrades, nothing. For 3 months, your job is to stop the bleeding before you try to heal. Step 4. Pick the most toxic debt and redirect a fixed amount toward it every month, even a small amount. The point is consistency, not heroism. Step 5. Stop measuring your financial life by whether things look stable. Start measuring it by how free your cash flow is. How much of your money is yours after the bills? That number is the truth. Everything else is decoration. Now let's talk about the second mistake. And this one is sneaky, because it disguises itself as patience. The second mistake is this. You wait for money to be left over before you start. You've said it. I've said it. Almost everyone says it. When I make more money, I'll start saving. When this debt is paid, I'll start investing. When the kids are older, I'll start planning. When things calm down, I'll get serious. When the next raise comes, I'll finally fix this. And then the raise comes. And nothing changes. Because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Money almost never gets left over. Not at 30, not at 40, not at 50, not at 60. Life expands to fill the income. Always. You make more, you spend more. You get a raise. Your lifestyle quietly absorbs it. A slightly nicer apartment. A slightly bigger grocery bill. A slightly newer car. Slightly more expensive habit. None of it feels reckless. None of it feels like overspending. It just feels like finally being able to breathe a little. And before you notice, the new income has become the new normal, and there's still nothing left at the end of the month. This is why people in their 40s often earn double what they earned at 25, and still have nothing saved. It's not because they're irresponsible. It's because they've been waiting for leftovers in a system that doesn't produce leftovers. Let me say that again, because it matters. Your financial life will never produce leftovers on its own. If you want something saved, something protected, something growing, you have to take it off the top, before the bills, before the spending, before the temptation, before the emergencies, before life eats it. So what's the correction? The correction is brutally simple, and that's exactly why people resist it. Step 1. Create a small automatic transfer on the same day your money comes in. Not the day after. Not the end of the week. The same day. The moment the money lands, a tiny piece of it moves somewhere else, somewhere you don't see in your daily account. Step 2. Start with an amount that feels almost ridiculously small. I'm serious. So small that your brain doesn't fight it. $20, $40. Whatever doesn't trigger panic. The goal at the beginning is not the amount. The goal is the habit, the wiring, the proof to yourself that you can do this. Step 3. Every time a debt disappears, every time a payment ends, every time a subscription gets canceled, take part of that freed up money and add it to the automatic transfer. So as your life gets lighter, your savings get heavier, without ever feeling the squeeze. Step 4. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. Stop waiting for the perfect app. Stop waiting for the perfect investment. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is a fantasy. The imperfect start is what changes your life. Step 5. Build the system before you chase sophisticated investments. You don't need to understand the stock market. You don't need to know what a hedge fund does. You don't need a finance degree. You need a pipe. A small, boring, automatic pipe that moves money from where it leaks to where it grows. That pipe is more powerful than any tip, any guru, any hot stock. Because that pipe runs whether you feel motivated or not. In your 40s, what you need is not more motivation. What you need is more automation. Before we go into the third mistake, do me a quick favor. If something I've said so far has hit a nerve, if you've recognized yourself in any of this, leave a comment right now, telling me which of the first two mistakes you've been making. Just one word is enough. Payments or waiting. Tap that like button. Not for me, for the algorithm. So this video reaches another 43-year-old sitting in a parked car, staring at their bank app, wondering how they got here. Your comment and your like push this video to them. Now let's go to the third mistake, because this one is the most dangerous of all. The third mistake is this. You look for a rescue instead of building protection. When you feel behind, your brain does something strange. It starts hunting for shortcuts. It starts looking for a hero moment. The one bet that fixes everything. The investment that explodes. The side hustle that takes off. The crypto coin your cousin mentioned. The penny stock from that YouTube ad. The online course that promises 6 figures in 6 months. The miracle. The escape hatch. The lottery dressed up as a strategy. And I get it. When you feel like you're running out of time, the slow path feels unbearable. The idea of saving $40 a week feels insulting compared to the size of the mountain. You don't want a plan. You want a rescue. But here's the truth. People who feel behind are the easiest people in the world to scam. And the entire shortcut industry knows it. They know your fear. They know your shame. They know your exhaustion. They design their pitch exactly for the person you are right now. Tired, stretched, hopeful, embarrassed, quietly desperate. And every dollar you throw at a shortcut is a dollar that doesn't go into your protection. Every hour you spend chasing a miracle is an hour you don't spend building something real. The dream of being rescued is what keeps you broke. Now, I'm not telling you to work 80 hours a week. I'm not telling you to grind yourself into dust. I'm not telling you to sacrifice your family, your health, or your sanity for a hustle culture fantasy. That's another trap. The correction is different. The correction is to build a small, second stream of income based on something you already know how to do. Not a new identity, not a new career overnight, not a new business with employees and overhead and a website and a logo. Just a small protective income, something that earns a little on the side, quietly, consistently, without consuming your life. Let me give you realistic examples. If you've worked in an office for 20 years, you can offer simple consulting to small businesses in your area. If you've raised kids, you can tutor, babysit, or coach other parents. If you're good with your hands, you can offer maintenance, small repairs, assembly, or handyman work in your neighborhood. If you've worked in customer service, you can do remote support, virtual assistance, or admin work on freelance platforms. If you know a language, you can teach it online, even just a few hours a week. If you've spent years in a specific industry, you can write, record, or create content explaining what you know to people just starting out. If you have a hobby that produces something, you can sell small batches locally or online. If you're trusted in your circle, ethical referrals and commissions can quietly add a few $100s a month. If you have weekends free, small project work, event support, or seasonal jobs can stabilize a tight budget without destroying your week. None of this is glamorous. None of this is viral. None of this will make you rich next month. That's the point. The goal is not to escape your life. The goal is to protect it. A protective income is the opposite of a rescue fantasy. It's small, it's slow, it's boring, it's real, and it does something a shortcut can never do. It builds margin. And that word margin is the center of everything I want to tell you today. Because here's the truth that took me a long time to understand. You're not broke because you don't know enough about money. You're broke because your financial life has no margin. Read that again in your head, slowly. You're not broke because you don't know enough about money. You're broke because your financial life has no margin. It's not a knowledge problem. You already know you should save. You already know you should spend less. You already know credit card interest is bad. You already know retirement matters. You've heard it 1,000 times. Knowledge is not your bottleneck. Margin is. Margin is the space between the money that comes in and the life you've built around it. Margin is the breathing room. Margin is the cushion. Margin is the silence between you and the next emergency. Without margin, every flat tire becomes debt. Without margin, every doctor visit becomes panic. Without margin, every raise disappears before you feel it. Without margin, every dream gets postponed forever. Without margin, every fight with your partner has money underneath it. Without margin, every Sunday night feels heavy. Without margin, you're not living. You're surviving with extra steps. But with margin, something shifts. With margin, the same income, the same job, the same apartment, the same car, suddenly starts to feel different. With margin, an $800 emergency is annoying, not catastrophic. With margin, a slow month at work is uncomfortable, not terrifying. With margin, you start making decisions from a place of calm instead of panic. With margin, you stop reacting to your life and start designing it. And margin doesn't come from a bigger paycheck. It comes from a different relationship with the money you already have. That's why someone earning $50,000 with margin sleeps better than someone earning $120,000 without it. That's why some of the most stressed people you know make great money, and some of the calmest people you know don't. The number on the paycheck is not the answer. The space around the number is. So how do you start building that space, starting this month, without waiting for life to slow down? Here's a simple 30-day plan. It's not perfect, it's not fancy, it's just real. Week 1, face the numbers. Sit down, with a coffee or whatever you drink, and write down every income source, every fixed payment, every recurring expense, every debt, every balance. The whole picture. No judging, no crying, just looking. You can't fix what you refuse to see. Week 2, stop the bleeding. No new payments, no new subscriptions, no new financing. Cancel 2 things you don't use. Identify the invisible expenses, the things that auto-charge, the things you forgot about, the small leaks that quietly drain the boat. Week 3, automate one small amount. Just one. Set up a transfer for the day your money lands. Tiny. Almost laughable. The amount is not what matters. The wiring is what matters. You're teaching your money a new direction. Week 4, test one realistic form of extra income. Not a business plan, not a new identity. It's just a small experiment. One client, one service, one project, one conversation, one offer. Something that might bring 50, 100, 200 extra dollars into your life. Just to prove to yourself it's possible. That's it. That's the plan. 4 weeks. 4 moves. 4 moves. No revolution. No miracle. No guru. Just truth, plus action, plus repetition. And here's what's going to happen if you actually do it. By the end of 30 days, you won't be rich. You won't be debt-free. You won't be retired. But for the first time in maybe 10 years, you'll feel something different. You'll feel a tiny piece of control coming back, a tiny piece of breath, a tiny piece of margin. And once you feel it, you won't want to live without it again. Look, I'm going to be honest with you because I think that's what you came here for. You're not going to fix 20 years of financial drift in 1 week. You're not going to undo every bad decision, every wrong turn, every lost year in 30 days. That's not realistic. And anyone who tells you otherwise is selling you something. But you do need to stop repeating the same 3 mistakes this month. You need to stop confusing monthly payments with what you can actually afford. You need to stop waiting for money to be left over before you start. You need to stop hunting for a rescue instead of building protection. Being behind in your 40s is scary. I know. It's heavy. It's lonely. It's the kind of fear you don't really talk about, not even with the people closest to you. You smile at work. You show up for your kids. You pay what you can. You hide the rest. But continuing to pretend you're not behind, that's what keeps you broke. The pretending is more expensive than the truth. The truth is uncomfortable for a week. The pretending is uncomfortable for a lifetime. You're allowed to be tired. You're allowed to be angry at how unfair some of this feels. You're allowed to grieve the version of your life you thought you'd be living by now. And then when you're ready, you're allowed to begin again, quietly, without announcement, without a perfect plan. Just one honest step at a time, because 40-something is not the end of your financial story. It's the part where the lying stops and the building begins. Before you go, do me one last favor. In the comments, tell me which of the 3 mistakes hit you the hardest. Was it payments? Was it waiting for money to be left over? Or was it shortcut? Just one word. I read them. And if this video gave you even one moment of clarity, hit that like button so it reaches someone else who needs to hear this tonight. And right now, on your screen, there's another video waiting for you. It's the next step. It's how to build a real 30-day financial plan to escape survival mode, with specific moves you can start this week. Tap it. Watch it. Don't close the app and go back to scrolling. You came here for a reason. Keep going. I'll see you in the next one.